Hello my crafty peeps, it's Cheyenne from ecdesignstudios.com. Now I am sitting next to my pellet stove and it's kind of chilly, so you can kind of hear that going on in the background, but you know what, I'm nice and toasty, so I'm okay with it. Alright, I'm going to start an embossing series, a heat embossing series, to show you different ways that you can use heat embossing in your crafting. So this is a sample that I have for you. Now this started out life looking like this. This is a piece of Stampin Up Very Vanilla cardstock. I cut it to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's perfect for a card front, a standard A2 size. What I tend to do is I'll work on the entire 8 1/2 by 11 sheet, and then I'll cut it up to use however I need to. So basically I'm making my own pattern paper. But if that's a little daunting, this is a more manageable size. Now this is from the Tin of Tags stamp set that you can get in the holiday catalog this year. So this little snowflake here. I've really been enjoying this stamp set. Like, you can make tons of actual tags. You can get the Tin of Tags to make. It's one of their pre-designed kits that you can just everything's all done. It's like paper pumpkin. So yeah, you just very quickly and easily craft a whole bunch of gift tags. But I didn't do that. I just got the tag set because it's got lots of wonderful different types of sayings on it. Anyway, off of that tangent, so that's what I did. I used clear embossing powder over the Very Vanilla, and then I watercolored it using the Stampin' Up ink pads. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm not going to show you how to do this one. We are going to be using the Paisleys and Posies stamp set because I'm in my Thanksgiving mode right now, and we're going to be using the Stampin' Up gold embossing powder. Highly recommend you depot your embossing powders into something like this. Is a container I got from the dollar store. It makes it so easy. Or you can use an old coffee filter, or whatever works for you. I just really like that. Alright, so step one, let us get this stamp that we want. And I probably should have done this beforehand, but I was just so excited to get this done that I had to jump right in. Alright, so I'm going to use this Paisley here because I think you're going to see it a lot better with that. So, Versamark ink pad, pop open my embossing powder, get that all ready. Usually I won't have scrap paper to catch the excess, but today I'm going to, just in case, because today would be the day where it didn't work out right and I end up with embossing powder everywhere. Okay, so we're just going to ink up that stamp with the Versamark and then just get to making your pattern paper. If you're not sure how to do this, I do have a tutorial on making your own pattern paper already on my channel, so feel free to reference that. The big key is to make sure you're stamping off the edges of the paper. That's what helps it to look like it was one big sheet of paper. Alright, so I've got everything stamped. Probably can't see that, too terribly well because it is Versamark. It's a watermark ink. So, if you are having trouble seeing your design, you can go ahead and do, stamp a couple of the Paisleys or whatever it is that you're stamping, and then go ahead and get the embossing powder on them and heat emboss them. Go ahead and set them. That's what I did with the snowflakes, because I really couldn't see them, and that just worked best for me. On these smaller ones I tend to just, go for it, but work at your pace, work what's best for you. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to use the embossing buddy over this first. I've got to get in the habit of that. I think once my new studio is set up, then I am just going to keep it out on my table so that I will always remember to use it. So that's it with the powder. Before the powder's melted, I'm going to go ahead and melt the powder and be right back. Alright, so I've got it all heat embossed. Now, oh, isn't that shine just so fun? Alright, here's a little tip. When you are heat embossing, you are supposed to heat up your piece from the bottom instead of putting it over the top. I've started doing this, and I do notice that it makes a little bit of a difference. Not much of one. If you feel that you really do kind of need to see what it is you're doing, then go ahead and heat it over the front. Or if you find that you're not paying attention and you keep burning the back of your piece, then by all means do it that way. Alright, so next step, let's get all the embossing stuff out of the way because we're not going to need it anymore. We are going to pick some colors to do a watercolor background. Now I'm going to pick it all from the Subtles ink set. So let's go with some Calypso Coral. Let's do, see, I think So Sapphire. And I'm thinking maybe some Pink Pirouette. I think those will be good. You can use any color combos. Alright, now to watercolor with these, you're going to kind of squeeze these little, basically you're going to be pushing the ink pad onto the top and depositing some ink there. So you're going to want to do that with your ink pads. Alright, I know this is probably going to be a big color in this, so I want to make sure I'm getting enough ink onto it. Now I'm going with kind of more fall type colors because that's the kind of card that I'm wanting to do, something more Thanksgiving and fall. Alright, this is water. So it's just an old spray bottle. I'm going to spray this with water. I'm going to do it away from my inks because I don't want to get any water in the inks. Now this is not watercolor paper, so you do kind of want to be a little conscious of how much water you're putting on because it's only going to absorb so much. At this point you can use a water brush. If you have one, an aqua painter, whatever that brand happens to call it. I'm going to use one of my actual paint brushes because it's big and I can cover more. My suggestion, go from your lightest color to your darkest color. So I'm just going to swirl that around. I'm actually going to spray my brush with the water too. So here we are in our Pink Pirouette, which you're not going to see a whole lot of. This is our base wash, so this is just kind of getting color everywhere. I don't expect that one to do a whole lot. Alright, now I'm going to go in with my So Saffron and just pick up little areas of it. And I've got a paper towel over here that I'm wiping off my brush with. Alright, now I'm going to go into my Calypso Coral and fill in even more. Now the spraying it down with water first, that's really going to help our colors to blend together a little bit more. They just flow into each other instead of getting all dry. You don't have to watercolor this. You can by all means use one of the Stampin' Up sponges or the sponge brayer for this too, and just get the ink on there that way. It's going to give a different look to it. I just like the watercolor effect. Like I like how it blends. Now I want this to really pop, so I'm going to get some really strong areas of color on here. And keep in mind too, with watercolor, anytime you're adding water to something, it is going to dilute the final product when it dries. It's not going to be as vibrant. That's part of the fun of working with watercolors. You know, it's a soft look, it's easy look. You know, there's really no way to kind of fully mess up watercolor unless you put in too many colors and you don't wait for it to dry in between, because then things just get muddy. But that is just the rule of color. Oh, alright, let me put my inks away before I get them everywhere, because that is what tends to happen with me. Okay, so we're all dry now. You get that nice soft blended background and the nice shine, the gold shine from the embossing powder. And the embossing powder does have a texture. You can feel it when you rub your hand across it. So play around with what color embossing powder you use. If you're wanting the original color of the paper to shine through, use clear. That's what I did on this one, so you see the very vanilla shine through. You could also use white or silver on this and it would be gorgeous as well. This one I also used, instead of water, a pearl powder spray that I used Perfect Pearls. No, it's not Stampin' Up, but Stampin' Up doesn't have anything like it, so I had to. So there's a little shimmer through to this one, to the background. That's an option. But yeah, play around, you know, different colors. You know, you don't understand color theory till you actually get in there and get your hands dirty. These are perfect for card fronts. Finish them off with a sentiment or something like that, whatever. Put them in your project live, cut them up into smaller pieces, use them on a bunch of different cards like a one-sheet wonder. The choice is yours. It's your crafting. Alright, so I'm going to end this video now before I go on and on and on and save some of my embossing knowledge for other videos. Now, if you liked what you saw, please remember to like and subscribe. There will be a link to all the products I used in the description bar below. It'll be a direct link to my blog. It's really nice. I've got lots of stuff on my blog. At the bottom of each post, it's a gallery. It shows you the prices and direct links to my online store for any of the products that you want to purchase. All the Stampin' Up stuff, I'm so impressed with them. Highly recommend them, which is why I sell them. Oh, anyway, enough shameless self-promotion. Thank you again for watching. Happy creating and crafting. Bye!